So, good afternoon and welcome to UAB campus. I'm Laura Frazier and I have had the privilege of being the director of the donor program for the last 5 years. So we welcome you here. I know a lot of you are visiting from afar and this may be a new environment for you. If you haven't been here before, Volker Hall kind of sits in the middle of campus between the undergraduate side and the kind of health medical sides of campus. And one time, I think a year or two ago, said, "You're having the service in Volker, can't you find a nicer spot?" And I said, well, kind of hit home, because this is a place we all gather. And so many of our students spend a lot of their time in this space, in these lecture halls. Our labs are here. It's home away from home for many of us. We spend a lot of our time here. So in a way, this is welcoming you to our home. So thank you for being here in this space with us all. And before we get, I want to go ahead and just shout out thank you to all the students that will really have donated their time and talents, and you're going to hear from lots of them today. And I appreciate you all stepping up and being part of this, and my colleagues as well that are here that have supported the program. Just a few little words of why we want to do this. I know you're all familiar with the program. We're here to thank you. As you know, we take pride in being able to say we have a total wheeled body program. And that means that we can tell the students that everyone here that came for their purposes of learning and education absolutely wanted to be here. This was their choice to be here, and I think that speaks volume. I'm always impressed when someone has their end-of-life funeral or cremation or donor plans. It means that tells you that person was pretty much at peace with their decision and where they wanted to be. So that's the first part of the equation. The second part of the equation is you all, because their registration with us is in no way binding or anything. There's no time to get anyone involved or read a will. So the second part is really that person, that donor, is surrounded by their loved ones who at their time of death made that very difficult decision to call and say, please come get my mother, my father, my sister, my spouse. I know that's hard. You're kind of apart from them for a little while, and that you all trust us, trust our school, our students with your loved ones really says a lot. There's a little snippet in the program. A student brought it to my attention a few years ago, a little poem, and it's, what do you want in this life? To love and to call myself loved. And we can say that everyone down here that came to us was indeed loved by all of you. So thank you all for trusting us and being here with us today. And with that, I will turn it over to the students, and they will have a few words for you.
The day will come when my body will lie upon a white sheet, neatly tucked under 4 corners of mattress, located in a hospital busily occupied with the living and the dying. At a certain moment, a doctor will determine that my brain has ceased to function, and that, for all intents and purposes, my life has stopped. When that happens, do not attempt to instill artificial life into my body by use of a machine. And don't call this my deathbed. Let it be called the bed of life, and let my body be taken from it to learn and help others lead fuller lives. Give my sight to the man who has never seen a sunrise, a baby's face, or the love in the eyes of a woman. Give my heart to a man whose own heart has caused nothing but endless days of pain. Give my blood to the teenager who was pulled from the wreck of his car so that he might live to see his grandchildren play. Give my kidneys to one who depends on a machine to exist from week to week. Take my bones, every muscle, every fiber and nerve in my body, and learn to find a way to make a crippled child walk. Explore every corner of my brain. Take my cells if necessary, and let them grow so that someday a speechless boy will shout at the crack of a bat, or a deaf girl will hear the sound of the rain against her window. Use this gift of my body to advance the knowledge that might allow a person who given a second chance at life to live it to the fullest. Burn what is left of me and scatter the ashes to the wind to help the flowers grow. If you must bury something, let it be my faults, my weaknesses, and all prejudices against my fellow man. Give my sins to the devil, give my soul to God. If by chance you wish to remember me, do it with a kind deed or a word to someone who needs you. If you do all that I have asked, I will live forever.
To everything there's a season, a time for every purpose under the sun, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to be planted and a time to plug up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to lose and a time to seek, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time to war and a time for peace.
To laugh often and much, to win the respect of the intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know that one life has breathed easier because you have lived here. This is to have succeeded.
I asked for strength, and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked for wisdom, and God gave me problems to learn to solve. I asked for prosperity, and God gave me a brain and brawn to work. I asked for courage, and God gave me dangers to overcome. I asked for love, and God gave me people to help. I asked for favors, and God gave me opportunities. I received nothing unwanted. I received everything I needed.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiara Garcia. I am representing the School of Dentistry. I'm a first-year student. And now, on behalf of the different schools, we would like to honor our donors. Up here, we have candles, and we're going to light them to represent the different colleges. First, we have the College of Arts and Science. School of Dentistry, the School of Health Professions, School of Optometry, School of Nursing, and finally, the School of Medicine. We'll proceed now with calling out our donors' names. When you hear your family member, if one representative of the family can please stand up, we will be passing out a thank you note that we made for them and the family.
Elsie Agricola, Lynn K. Ambrose, Jr., Earl Gilbert Anderson, Sheila Diane Armstrong, Shirley Springfield Arndt, Harold Ray Barnes, James Snyder Best, Mary Lily Eccles Blackmar, Lila Jean Bogus, Barbara Sue Bohannon, Betty Wright Bolt, Johnny Brown, Shirley C. Brown, Martha P. Cady, Travis Francis P. Campbell, Marie U. Selka, Gloria Childs, Ola Francis Churchill, Rue Foster Ciliacs, Billy W. Clay, June Mizell Cuniff, Malcolm Lee Davis, Elizabeth Ann Dillard, Jerry Max Dillard, Jerry Donald Island, Barbara Ethel Francisco, Sally Frick, Dorothy Gainey, Samuel Edward Glass, Eugene Howard Godfrey.
Please continue to stand as the following names are called. Harold Golden, James Haynes Goldsmith, Marion Kathleen Gordon, Michael Jarrett Gordon, James Guess, Beverly G. Gunn, John Lister Hayslip, Judy Annette Hamilton, Margaret Christine Wesley Harris, Carol Joanne Hart, Jeffrey Lynn Harvey, Patricia Ann Heath, Earl Junior Aberling, Rachel Rebecca Aberling, Charles E. Harley, Senior, MD, Bartley Heron, Catherine Ann Hink, Thomas Hogan, Janie V. Holland, Rebecca Sue Holt, Evangeline Hoover, Royce Ann Rushing Hubbard, Rachel Hughes, Curtis Eugene Jones, Charles Robert Justice, Ruby Iban Kasof, Kathleen Kaufman, Robert O. Kelly, Gwendolyn P. Kenny, Ruth Marshall Kibbe.
Carol Pamela Kirkpatrick, Doris Janelle Lashley, Charles Edward Lowry, Lois Jean Lynch, Gloria J. Martin, Janelle Matthews, Harry Donald McClenny Sr., Margaret Marie McDaniel, Barbara McGraw, Reva McIntyre, Charles Alexander McKinnon, Gail Bruce McMahon, Michael Clarence McName, Barbara B. McWhorter, Mildred Cobb Milligan, Francis G. Moorer, Robert Page Moss, Robert Hughes Mount, Rebecca Catherine Myatt, Hilda Neal, Lonnie Lee Nelson Sr., Nelda O'Neill, Doris Yvonne Pace, Leroy Pate, Sophie Pingator, Yvester Alexander Pope, Walter Howard Porter, Max Powell Jr., Madeline Joyce Rasco, Rebecca Ellen Reynolds.
Robert Norman Rogers, Nicky John Rood Sr., Charles F. Reuter, Edgar F. St. Louis, Consuelo Giustiani Sadler, Troy H. Sanders, Dorothy Santini, Otis Barnell Sewell Jr., James Earl Sides, Wendy Foreman Simmons, Robert Earl Simpson, Robert E. Slaughter, John Henry Southern, Rebecca Brown Stewart, Gary Swinney, Peggy Terrence, William Francis Teat, Katrina Thompson, Barry Tingle, Doris Yeager Tobert, Wade Coleman Tucker, Albert Morgan Wade, Henry Burden Waits, Joan Walters, Joanne Ward, Wanda Aline Whalen, William Benny White, Thomas Marilyn Wigginton Sr., Archie Glenn Wilcoxon Jr., Norman Eugene Wirtz, Joyce Ann Wright, Eldon R. Zimmerman Sr. If any donor's name was not called, will a family member of that family please stand and call their name? Thank you so much.
Hello again. Our donors come from really all walks of life. We have teachers, and we have nurses, and we have carpenters, and we have entrance men and bankers and anything in between. Many people that live life of service throughout their lives. And there's one particular group that we like to recognize. Many of our donors that come to us have been part of the armed forces in some branch, and which is not surprising. These are people from the get-go that wanted to serve their country and give of themselves. So a lot of these people see this as a way of continuing to give. So we'd just like to take a moment to honor our veterans, or if there are any active or veteran military men and women that would like to stand at this time, we would like to recognize you. Oops. And we'll just take a moment. Thank you all for your service and for being with us today. I just wanted to make a few comments about our gardens and our sculpture. About 75% of our donors, their families will claim their will recover the remains after, and about 25% those stay with us. And I just wanted to show, because I know some family members have asked about it, a little outside of town, kind of, if you're heading towards Atlanta, we have a nice donor memorial garden. So if your family is going to be staying with us interred, it's a really nice space. It's a little out of town, so if anyone wants to visit, we can arrange for that to happen at any time, and we will let you know when that happens. But it's a beautiful, lovely space. I like to show this with this is when we had snow a couple of years, but it really looks nice in the spring and the summer. And as I said, that property is probably about 30 miles out of town. And the director before me had the idea of we really should have something on campus as a way of recognizing the program and our donors. So I think 3 or 4 years ago, we finally had this memorial sculpture. It's out on the plaza towards the library, and we can show you, I know a few of you have already been out there, but we can show you. If you elected to have your loved one's name, the plates are up there, so you can kind of see this is what we've just decided to come up with, is a kind of a living wall. So every year we're adding more and more names. I think we started with 3 or 4 panels, and now we're up to 15. If by chance if you got your paperwork in, it's probably there because these were freshly installed last week. If you kind of were in that last week or two, you might be on the next printing, but we can help you figure out if your family member's name is that. So if you go out there, each panel, they're alphabetized on respective panels, and the newest ones are, so if your last name is Davis, I would start from the bottom panel and look under D and then move up, because 12 and 13 through 15 are the new panels that would represent your family's nice, pretty space. In time, we hope to have it landscaped really nicely, like the rest of the plazas. But hey, work in progress, aren't we all? Okay, and I'm going to read a little something before we go back to the students. This is called a farewell to our students, and it's anonymous. The author was Your Silent Teachers. I teach many of these students in anatomical sciences. I see a lot of students in their first and second years of their programs, and I probably can speak for many of my fellow educators, and we hope to have a little impact on the students any kind of wherever we can have a positive influence. And by the most part, they're silent teachers, they're donors. Many students consider their first patient or their first teacher. So this is a little more maybe directed toward the students from maybe the point of view of a donor. We didn't know it would be like this. Something like this, yes. But as you know now, the idea of an experience and the reality of it are islands not so easily bridged. We didn't realize it would be such a world of contrast. Surrounded by you, but not one of you. Resisting your movements, but embracing your motives. Shaping your experience, subject to your inquisitions. So revealed to you, but yet also eternally opaque. We have heard your questions during this time with us, whether spoken or silent, and the answers are these. We were in pain, and we are at peace. We loved, and were loved, something greater than ourselves. We were beauty personified and homeliness incarnate. We had triumphs and tragedies, worries, wants, and needs. We found answers, and we made mistakes. Above all, we were human, and now we are not. We are less than living, but more than dead. We are more alive than those who lie within the earth or are scattered upon it. For we are among you, in body and essence. We communicate with you as so few in our state may do. The restrictions of death are many, but we transcend them, if ever so briefly. We do this for you, the motivation and the beneficiaries of our unique status. So go forward from this place and continue your journeys, and we will continue ours. You go from us carrying not all of our wisdom, but all that we could offer you. In a language more complex and simple than we would have ever known. You speak that language now, and in doing so, we speak through you. We live in you, as one day you will live with us. So until that day, we wish you well, and we thank you for one more chance to speak.
Without stories, that's how they come. And without their words, without their names, we face their faces. How rare in the patterns of human life that moment is. Singular, strange. It is strange. You should know that. Perhaps amongst a few there's a false bravado, but largely we approach with caution, fear, awe. We are bodies, and these bodies remind us. Every healer must eventually be the healed, and there will be a moment at which healing is beyond our skills, and another moment when we ourselves are beyond healing. Time flows in one direction, and so these gift givers tell that universal story, an arc larger than any human life, the arc under which all of creation lies. What a gift to put us students in our places, to locate us in the broader pattern. Too smart for our own good, most of us. Dr. Fraser will tell you so. But for you, friends and family gathered here, they were not symbols or abstractions. There was more. So much more. An infinite, expansive richness. The texture of their life seems forever out of my reach. You carry the stories which patterned it. I wish I could tell them here, but they are not mine. They were not ours to know. With that impoverished awareness, that shallow field of view, we set to work, futile at times and stumbling, to understand the mystery of our common garment, that mortal coil. On the worst days, frustration mounts. Understanding feels forever beyond reach. On the best days, though, there are moments of awe. You should know that too. Even the most seasoned anatomist can see briefly again with young eyes, and perhaps hear also. After all, bodies tell their own kinds of stories. The history of their brief transit upon this fragile planet, the scars which marked a vaccine from a different world, one where a virus could blind a child, could kill a third of those infected. Medicine made a new world in their lifetimes, reached for something unimaginable, a place where a body could gift one heart to another, a world without smallpox. The manifestation of those impossible dreams was etched into their bodies. Scars marked their surgery, their narrow miss, and the history of our long, winding quest for health. Sometimes it seems scars tell the only story there is, markers of damage done and of renewal, the seed from which all our words grow, the tension from which our hope springs. Myself, I am a hoper, but I remain unwedded to the notion of inevitable progress.